Hi there again, back in my little pub. Now, if I could thank you for all the comments on the last video, there were hundreds. It would appear that beer and pubs is a very interesting subject to many of you, as well as myself. But thanks for all the comments. I'll try and reply to them. I'm struggling a bit at the moment. I do read them all. If I don't reply, I'll put one of them little hearts next to it, just to say I have read your message. But I got so many replies and so many interesting comments and lots of good suggestions about mirrors and things to put on the wall and things to, lots of names as well. I probably will never name the place. It'll have to stay as a pub with no name at the moment. I ain't very good at naming stuff. It might get a name, we'll have to see. But some fantastic suggestions. Probably Lockdown, the Lockdown Arms or something like that. The Lockdown. That was probably the most popular name as it was my lockdown project. Anyway, the main purpose of this video is to look at the beer in the box beer system, my fridge and my hand pull, and all the necessary pipe work, how you connect it up, thermostat, everything. So that's what we're concentrating on today. I will show a quick show round the pub just to let people know who haven't seen my previous video. They can see what the pub's like. And it'll show you, there might be I'll put a few more beer towels up and things like that. Even got our Bridge North fishing trophy up. I'll show you that. So that's the plan for this video. Now, last week was so warm. It was over 30 degrees in here. It was too uncomfortable to sit inside, and my poor fridge was working overtime. Luckily, this week has cooled down. I did have, I think it was Selby Blonde in the fridge, and that ran out yesterday. So I had ordered some more beer. It's Wednesday today. Now, I ordered this about the Friday. You can pick your delivery day, and I picked the Monday. It's come all the way from Yeovil, down south of all places. I've ordered a southern beer, but I wanted to try something different, and I wanted to see how the delivery system worked, because then I think, well, you can order beer from all over the country, and that is the fun of it. You can pick a brewery 200 miles away, click a button, and a couple of days later a box of beer arrives on your doorstep. So I thought I'd try this one. It's Yeovil Ales. It's called Somerset. It's 4.1% Tangerine Fruity Blonde. Now, this is a 20 litre box of beer. It's in a bag, which I'm going to tell you a lot more about. The beer cost me £65, which is more than I would pay in Sheffield. I tend to pay about £50 in Sheffield for 20 litres of beer. But like I say, I wanted to try something different, and you have to pay the postage, so it was £9 for the postage. Now, if you think this weighs 20 kilograms, I ordered it the Friday, picked Monday as the delivery day. Today is Wednesday, so it arrived this morning, just on the doorstep. So it wasn't a bad delivery service. But you've got to think, it has a pretty long shelf life. They say about 10 to 14 days. I'm still trying to find out, and basically myself, trial and error, see how long it lasts. The last one we looked at, I had it for 14 days and it was still drinkable. It's got 14 days. Well, it's used 2 of those days. So once it's put in the bag, it's basically starting to age. So I've lost 2 days in delivery time. So I've got 20 litres and I've only got 12 days left to drink it. But I'm sure we'll manage that. Now, I'll tell you a bit more about beer in a box, the system that I use. If you think in a normal pub, they tend to use a stainless steel cask, the common size being a firkin, which is 72 pints, and it doesn't last that long. I think they recommend probably for a blonde beer about 5 days that you've got to use that 72 pints up, which is obviously impossible for somebody like me who just wants to have a drink every so often. So the way a cask works is once you've tapped it, as you draw a pint of beer out, it takes a pint of air in, or you're going to form a vacuum and it ain't going to let the beer out. And that air with the oxygen starts the beer to go off. So that is why you haven't got long. So a normal cask, like I say, in a pub will probably only last about 5 days. Your stronger, darker ales tend to last longer. So the beauty of beer in a box is that the beer is in a sealed bag. So it's filled up, there's no air in it, it's sealed, and as you draw a pint of beer off, that bag collapses and you don't get any air contamination. And that is why the beer in a bag keeps longer. It's not just people like me using it. A lot of small, probably cafe type bars that don't have a big turnover, they're using these because you can just swap them about. You can put a dark beer on for a day, put it to one side, put a light beer on. So they're very adaptable in that way. And I would say, I've asked several people, it keeps about 10 to 14 days. 14 days is fine for 20 litres. And yeah, it does start to go a little bit flat, but the hand pump and the sparkler will smarten it up a bit. So I tend to hopefully get 14 days. It's a bit like a pub crawl, yeah. You don't get a perfect pint every time. You got to, when we used to go around a few pubs, you might get one you think, oh, that wasn't so good. So yeah, it does deteriorate a bit, but it is still drinkable. So like I say, in the fridge at the moment, I've got an empty Selby Brewery, or Jolly Sailor Brewery. It's a Selby Blonde. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove the old box, clean all the pipework, and then I'll go through my setup with the beer in the box, the pipework to the hand pump, and all the fittings and valves that I've used. And then we'll get this new 20 litre box installed and connected up, and I'm afraid then we're going to have to wait till tomorrow to sample it. It is a live beer. It's got sediment, probably finings in, so it does really want 24 hours to settle. So I'm afraid we're going to have to wait till tomorrow. You won't be waiting, it'll be a brief 1 minute changeover and then it will be tomorrow. So what I'll do now, I'll just quickly show you around, show you anything new I've done, and let people who haven't seen my pub get a look at it. I'll see you in a little bit. So, for those of you that have not seen inside my pub before, here's a little view. Got a few more beer towels up on the walls and a couple more trays. I'm still after a few more mirrors. They seem quite expensive, but I keep looking on eBay, see what I can find. So that's looking into my little pub. I'm going to swing the camera around now and we'll have a look from the other side. So this is a view of my pub looking the other way. Back to the door we came in. You can see the box of beer sat down there waiting to be connected to the hand pump. That's going to be the next job. And then we come round to the bar. See the hand pump. Now a lot of people did suggest getting a big mirror and putting it behind the bar. That would be great. That it's just a matter of finding the right mirror, and they cost a fortune, the really big ones. But I'm looking on eBay all the time, so something might turn up. So that's just a quick view to show anybody who's not seen it before. We'll have a look at the fridge and the hand pump system now and work towards getting this new beer connected. So this is my fridge in here. So what we'll do, we'll run through the complete setup, get this old box of beer removed, pipes all cleaned, and then install the new beer from Yeovil. Now, first thing we'll look at is the fridge. When I bought this fridge, I had no idea what I was doing. I just wanted a fridge to put some beer in. Luckily, I got the right size. It's an integrated fridge, this, so it come out of somebody's kitchen. I've stripped all the shelving out and everything, put that board in. Like I say, I was lucky with the size. You do need a decent sized fridge, which this is. Now the other thing, you've got to get a lot of pipes in and out the fridge. You can probably see that's my beer line, and this one coming up is the thermostat. Once the fridge door's shut, you can't get anything through, so you've got to drill holes in the fridge. Bit scary. What I did for the beer line, at first I thought I'll put the beer that way, and that is why I drilled the hole there. I was a bit wary what I was going to find. Just going to reach for something. Probably circulating all around here are the cooling pipes. So basically what I did, I drilled a little hole through the plastic and then pushed a screwdriver. It's packed full of insulation. Shoved a screwdriver through. There were no pipes, so I made it a bit bigger. Again, poked through to make sure there was no coolant pipes. And once I knew I'd got an area I was clear, I don't know if you can see that, that's like a tapered bit, a bit worn out now. I pushed that through and it opened the holes up to about probably 22, 23 millimetre. I then lined the hole, because the edges were jagged, I lined it with a bit of lighting conduit. So I did that one, and then I had to drill again for the thermostat, but again just took me time drilling the holes. So that is basically the fridge. Came on eBay, that was 40 quid, and it was right at the beginning of the COVID epidemic. So I said, could you deliver it? He said, it'll cost you £5. I said, go on. So he brought it around 45 quid. But that is the hub of my beer setup. That's where I store the beer. Now this existing beer we've got in is Selby Pale from the Jolly Sailor Brewery up at Selby. Being a very nice beer. 50 quid, delivers it to your door. Fantastic service. I think he delivers certain areas in Yorkshire at certain times of the day. So this is the main connection from the bag of beer inside. Yeah, so there's a bag of beer in there. It comes in a bag. I'll show you a bag in a bit. And on there there's a tap that's known as a Vitop tap, same as you get on a wine box. And this is a Vitop connector. There's another example of one, if you can see that. Now it's got a 3/8 barbed outlet there that you push a pipe on, and then this just slides over the tap. I'll do it that way. You slide it onto the beer box tap, that closes over, and then as you turn that, it opens the valve. So your beer is then connected and the tap is open. So we can easily remove that. So that removes the connection. So you can see how easy it is to swap from one beer to the other. Very easy. And I didn't mention that's a 20 litre box. They also come in 10 and 5 litres. So I never thought I could probably have a couple of 10 litres in there, a dark one and a light one, and just alternate between them as and when. So we'll get this old box of beer out. It is empty, light as a feather. It basically sucked it dry, and there you can see the tap probably a bit more clearly there. So let's get rid of that. So you can see now the 3/8 beer line there. It goes through the side of the fridge and down under the bar, makes its way over to the hand pump. I'm going to get the camera under there now and show you the connections under there. Now you can see there are various parts from the Vitop connector and various bits underneath. What I'll do, under the description of the video, I'll try and list a lot of the parts I've used and where I got them from, and some of the breweries where I've had the beer from. I know a lot of people make it so you can click on it and it automatically takes you to the website. I'm not too sure if I'm up to that. It might be just a name of a company, but I'll have a look. I might be able to get my two sons to show me what to do. But yeah, I'll try and list all the parts, so you could click straight out. You know where to look and that. So right, we'll have a look under the bar now. So underneath the bar now, you can, on the bottom right hand side, you can see a grey double socket. That comes from the Inkbird thermostat. Got the fridge plugged in, and adjacent you can see the heating socket. So if I was to put some heating on in winter for the fridge, I would plug it in there. Now above that you can probably see the beer line coming down. That's a 3/8 plastic beer line. It comes down and I've clipped it to the roof. That comes from the Vitop connection on the box of beer. Now this white valve we're looking at here, that is known as a demand valve. It's basically there to stop the beer siphoning through to the beer engine, and also if there were any back flushing, you don't want beer going back up there. So it's basically a one-way demand valve. If you pull the hand pump, it puts the demand on that valve and that allows the beer to flow. You can probably get away with just a one-way valve, something like that. Now to make that connection, you've got a John Guest speed fit fitting. It's a 3/8 hose to 3/8 stem, and then that just pushes straight into the centre of the demand valve. Now coming out of the demand valve is a 1/2 inch hose. That's got a metal clip around it, terry clip, and that goes to the back of the beer engine. Again, that's a piece of 1/2 inch beer line. And that's basically the only connections. You can see the view at the back of the beer engine. That is actually the water jacket that surrounds the cylinder. So if I was to put a cooler on, I can keep the beer in the beer engine cylinder cool. We'll now go back up and have a look at the beer engine itself. So the last bit to look at is the beer engine, more commonly known as a hand pull. You saw underneath the bar with the 1/2 inch beer line from the demand valve going into the bottom of the beer engine. various makes. This is an Angram beer engine, probably one of the common ones that is supplied to the beer industry, so you can imagine it's a solid, dependable unit. If you bought one of these new, it could be about £500. Get them second hand on eBay, 50 quid. Don't know how good they are, what do they work, are the seals good, what's been pulled through it. I went for a reconditioned unit. So it's an Angram beer engine. It's been reconditioned by RLBS. I'll put the name of these suppliers up, like I say, on the description. So I've got a guarantee with it. I know it's a dependable unit. It's a beautiful bit of kit to use. It's kind of made solid, old, traditional materials. You've got this solid oak plinth all the way round, and then this is all solid brass. There's no plastic or anything like that. A nice handle which you can change, and a brass pommel on top. This is a model is an Angram quarter pint water cooled CQ model. It's the standard one supplied to the beer industry. The water cooled side of it, you can probably just see two pipes there. If you can imagine, when there's beer standing in the cylinder, there's a quarter of a pint, because this is a quarter of a pint model, and that can get warm. So you can connect a chiller up to these two pints, and that will always keep the beer in the engine at the right temperature. I'm not too bothered. The cost of it, I don't mind the first quarter of a pint being a bit warm. It gets diluted because it might be in a pint, and you have a choice. You can throw that quarter of a pint away, or in my case, you can drink it. But it doesn't. It's no problem that I'm happy to use it without the cooler. But I got it with the water jacket. You never know. In the future, I might get a chiller. So that's the setup. You've got a drip tray here, easy removable, easy to clean. You've got the swan neck stem down here, traditional with a northern pint, which we covered in the last video, and a 0.6mm sparkler on the bottom to give that nice smooth pint with a nice tight creamy head. But it is a pleasure to use. Each drink you pull is a pleasure. So I think that covers it. You probably saw it was clamped on when we were underneath the bar. You can see it's just be two thumb screws and two clamps fastens to the bar. And like I say, this is a quarter pint. They do make a half pint. One pull, you pump out half a pint. Whether that is a bit quicker for a busy bar, I'm not too sure. I was happy to go for the quarter pint. So that really covers the setup from the box of beer, the pipe work, to the beer engine. So what we'll do now, get all the pipe work cleaned, and then look towards connecting the new box of beer. So next job we're going to do, clean all the pipes. I tend to do this every time I change a box of beer. I think it's good practice. It cleans all the pipes, the connections, the valves, everything. So I'll just take out this board. I put that in. That supports the box of beer. I sort of made this system up myself. I'm sure there are proper ways of doing it, and whatever suits you. That's just a plastic box I got from Tesco, and that fits nicely in there. And fill it full of water. I don't know if having a carpet in here is such a good idea. It'll soon smell like a pub. So first you want to basically, that submerges in there, the Vitop. I don't take it off, you can't get the thing off without cutting the pipe. So that goes in the water. Just take the sparkler off. I'll drop that in there. So we can basically pump out the old beer. So that's the system flush with water. Now we want to put a cleaner in. There'll be loads of them. I just found that again on the internet. It's called Proton and it's a beer line cleaner. I only wanted a litre but I had to buy 5. So I think there's a 30 millilitre there. So I'm going to put that in there and basically that'll do 3 litres. I've probably got a couple of litres of water in there. So as you can see it's purple and the reason behind that, you can see it in your beer lines and then you can see when you've flushed it all back out. So I'll pour that in there. So I've got now my beer line cleaner in and it's just a matter of pulling that through the lines. So I can see the purple cleaner coming through. So it's just a matter of probably pull it through a couple of times over a period of 10 to 15 minutes and that'll clean away any deposits, make your beer lines and all the valves and the hand pump perfectly clean. So I'll get this bit finished off and then we'll have nice clean beer lines. So that's the beer lines all clean. Once I'd left it for its required time, I filled that full of clean water and pulled a load of fresh water through so it flushed out all the purple cleaner and you can see it ran clear. So we're getting ready to install the box of beer now. So that's in there. I'm going to put the box in. It's obviously the beer is in a bag inside. I'll show you roughly what it looks like. Weighs a ton this. So that is a bag of water, but basically that is what is in that box of beer. And you can see the Vitop tap there. But that weighs 20 kilos. I did myself I was sort of experimenting and I filled one of this bag full of water. To fill it right to the top takes 25 litres. So I reckon with 20 litres of beer in, there's 5 litres of head space. If it starts to ferment, fill up with gas a bit, there is quite a bit of a head space there. You ain't going to burst the bag easy. So yeah, that's what's in the box. So we'll get this new box of beer in. Oh. God, it is heavy. So 20 kilograms of beer. Oh. That's the beer going in. Luckily, this fridge has got a bit of a raised bit of plastic at the back. So if I push it right in, it does tip the box up. If you haven't, I suppose if you just put a block of timber under it, so it tips it forward. And you can see they come with a cutout, so your V-top tap pokes through like that. So it's just a matter of connecting the beer line now. Sometimes it doesn't always go to plan. I'm just going to get some paper roll.
shove that under there. Got a plastic mat just in case. So we just need to connect. So that's the valve, this Vitop connector pushed on. Slide that over. There. So that's connected. I've twisted the knob and that's opened the valve out. And we ain't spilt a drop. It doesn't usually work like that. And then I actually cut a hole in it there. So that's the beer in place. It needs to settle now for 24 hours. It'll have had the sediment shook up all over the place. So it's going to stay in there for 24 hours to settle, but probably more important, it wants to cool down to the right temperature. I found it does take, there's quite a big volume there. That's probably about 18 degrees. If it had come last week, I don't know what it would have been like. So it's a matter of leaving it to get it down to temperature. This is my thermostat. So you can't actually put the thermostat in the beer, but I try and get it underneath the bag so it'll give a fairly accurate reading. All clean. So that's all connected. So like I say, that's going to sit there for 24 hours. More importantly, to cool as well as settle. So I've got my thermostat down here. I'll just go through that bit with you. So that's my thermostat. It's an Inkbird ITC308, which I'll list in the description. So it's important to get the beer down to the right temperature. The beer is 17 degrees at the moment, wants to be around 10 to 12 degrees C. You'll see I've got it set on 6. That's basically so the fridge stays on. The thermostat touching the side of the bag and near to the box don't always give an accurate temperature. So I set it at 6 and basically the fridge, you've got a green light there. So the refrigeration is on and that will basically stay on all night. Once it's down to around what I know is the right temperature, I'll set it to around 11 degrees and it'll maintain that temperature. So that's basically everything set up. Old beer removed, pipes clean, new beer on. We've just now got to wait till tomorrow and then we've got the nice bit. We can go and sample the beer. So I think we'll get this place shut up and wait until tomorrow. Hi there again. Back up at my little pub. I came up early this morning to check the temperature of the beer. It had taken all night, but it had got it down to around 10 degrees because there's quite a volume of beer to cool in there. So I've reset this thermostat. I've actually set it at 11 degrees. So it tends to maintain that probably a degree each way. If the weather gets warmer, I might have to drop the temperature. It's a bit of trial and error. The probe, the thermostat probe, isn't in the beer, it's touching the side of it, so it's not 100% accurate, but it's near enough. I have put a thermometer in the beer to double check it, so it's sometimes only an odd degree out, something like that. So, we're going to try this beer. It's Yeovil Ales Tangerine Fruity Blonde, 4.1% I believe. So we'll 4.2%. So we'll have the first pint. Got me Wainwright glass again. That pulled pretty nice, got a nice head on that, probably a bit too much. Just let it settle a bit. Well, it pulled nice. Very smooth. That's that Northern Sparkler. Oh God, it just slides down. It is so smooth. It's a little bit darker. I won't call it a blonde. It's got the colour of a pale ale. Whether that's the tangerines, I'm not too sure. Oh, you can smell, there's not a lot of hops. I class a blonde ale as to be pretty hoppy. But it's still very nice, that. Really nice. That didn't last long. Better pull another. Yeah, certainly pulls nice. I'll let that settle a bit this time. Well, the pub is basically finished. One little thing I might do, I've never been happy the fact that this hose goes out the side and then down and back underneath. I put that in very early on and I hadn't really drilled it in the right position. Well, what I'm thinking of doing is drilling a hole straight down here and just go straight down and then under the bar into the hand pump and actually reroute the beer line. It'll be a bit shorter run and I thought I can move it about then, and if I've got two 10 litres in, it would be easy to swap from one to the other. So that is a little job I'm going to do. And the other thing which you can get pipe insulation, proper beer line insulation, so it basically, the cool beer is cool and insulated right up to the hand pump. Not bad for a southern pint. Old Yeovil. Another, I thought, nice little thing that Yeovil did, the brewery. All the beers they sell, they'll let you download the hand pump badge. So I just downloaded it, printed it off, I printed it on a bit of card, stuck it on a bit of plastic. These clips, they're a standard hand pull badge clip. I think I bought about 30 of them, they weren't expensive. So for each different beer you get, you can have the right clip on. I know it's not much, but I think it's a nice little gesture and that. Oh, it certainly goes down well. You know what I'm gonna say, don't you? Let's have another. A pleasure to pull. Well, I'm going to sit here and drink this, and I'll come back to you in a little bit and we'll have a last chat. For a person that just likes a few pints of hand-pulled beer, I think this beer in the box system is great. The fact that you can have it delivered to your door is quite readily available, and there's quite a variety of beers you can have. I think that's fantastic. And the fact it keeps, let's say, 10 to 14 days, that's not bad at all. That's 20 litre, but you can have a 10 or a 5 litre. It's, I think it's a really good system. Another pint, landlord. Oh, that's me. That's me, amp landlord. Just one more. Don't that look nice? I hope this video has shown you how easy it is to set up your own hand-pulled beer at home. I mean, if you went for the basics, so number one, you need a hand pump, and that is your big outlay. So you get your hand pump, a bit of beer line, and perhaps a non-return valve, and a box of beer, and that's all you need. And then you've got your hand-pulled beer. Mount it in the garage somewhere nice and cool, and you've got hand-pulled beer. That is fantastic, I think. So I'm hoping to try some different beers over these next few weeks or so. There is so many to choose from. I do prefer like the blonde IPAs, like them pretty hoppy, about 4%, a little bit citrusy. That's what I prefer to drink. But I like the, if I call it traditional bitters, like Timothy Taylor's Landlord, Mars and Pedigree. I used to like that. So I'm going to try all different sorts. My wife likes porters, like chocolate, coffee, licorice porters. When we go to the beer festivals, her and her friend tend to drink those. But I'm more your blonde beer. It seems to go down so well. So like I say, cheers, thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to hide up here for another hour or so, and then I'll venture back down to the house. Bye then. Just one more.